Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're going over our updated Game Week 1 draft. We have made a few massive changes to the team, so we're going to go over those. If you guys are keen for the start of the new FPL season or are new to the channel, leave a like and subscribe. As always, have those notification bells turned on as well so you don't miss any future FPL videos in the build up to Game Week 1. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So let's start off with the goalkeepers. I have made a change to the goalkeeper spot. I've gone with Pickford in goals. He's coming in at £4.5 million. I think it's a bit better with the squad that I have to go for a cheaper keeper. This team does have two premium options. I will go over those guys in a little bit later on in the video, but it does allow me to, or it does mean that I have to spend less on goalkeeper. So Pickford at 4.5, he is one of my favourite picks at this price point. Everton have some really good fixtures to start the new season. He's got Fulham at home. Game Week 1's a really good chance for a clean sheet. And under Sean Dyche, I think Everton's defence should be a lot stronger this season. So I think for that reason, looking at those starting 5 fixtures for Everton, I'm very happy to have Pickford as my Game Week 1 goalkeeper. Areola as well, he is going to be one of the backup options that I'd look at. I think he's a fairly strong pick there. I'll go over him a little bit later on in the video as well, but for me, Pickford at 4.5, a really good goalkeeper option at that price. Let's move on to the starting back 4 right now. This team is a 4-4-2 formation team. So the back 4 does involve Gabriel, Reece James, Estupiñán, and Rico Henry. So there is no Trent or Robertson or no Liverpool defensive options in this back line. Obviously, Gabriel, a fairly popular Arsenal pick right now, around a 17% ownership. I want to have that Arsenal defense ticked off, and if I don't have Ramsdale in goals, it does mean that I want to have an Arsenal starting defender. Gabriel, just about as nailed as it gets in terms of Arsenal defensive options, so I think he is a really good pick. Plus, he does have some very good aerial threat from corners. He found himself picking up goals from corners last season for Arsenal. Has some fairly decent shot stats amongst centre-backs last year in FPL. Actually does register a decent amount of shots per 90. So I think from headers from corners, Gabriel could definitely be a good point source. Reece James for Chelsea. He is my replacement for Trent, that sort of Trent/Robertson spot in the Liverpool defence. I think Chelsea have way better fixtures than Liverpool to start the new season, especially based on defensive difficulty. Reece James has as much attacking potential as the likes of Andy Robertson. Probably not as much as Trent, but I think he's still very similar when he's at his best. Hopefully, with Chelsea being under new management as well, they can bring out the best of their fullbacks in Chilwell and Reece James. So considering that he's £5.5 million, I think it's a really good price for Reece James. Liverpool at home, Game Week 1, not the easiest fixture, but after that, I really like Chelsea's fixtures, and I wouldn't be surprised if they can get clean sheets to start the new season. Obviously, Reece James, a very attacking defender. He gets forward, he makes really good overlapping runs, and he has got some very good attacking threat. So I like Reece James for those reasons. I think he's going to be a really good differential defender, just a 17% ownership as well, similar to Gabriel, with excellent starting fixtures plus really good attacking potential. I think he is going to be a very good defensive option to start the new season. And looking at the last 2 starting defenders, Purvis Estupiñán and Rico Henry here. Estupiñán currently the highest owned defender in FPL with very good reason, just £5 million. Brighton have superb fixtures to start the new season. Estupiñán, brilliant underlying numbers, ranked last year in the top 5 for attempted assist, expected assist, and actual assist amongst players at the back. So I think Estupiñán, a very good pick. Luton at home, Game Week 1. You can pretty much book in a clean sheet for Brighton in that game, in my opinion. And then Rico Henry to round out the defence there. He's got Spurs at home, Game Week 1. Not ideal that I have to play Rico Henry Game Week 1 against Spurs at home, but it definitely isn't the worst fixture. Plus, Henry has some decent attacking potential as well at a fullback role for Brentford. I think he's a really good pick at £4.5 million. A pick that I haven't seen in too many teams, but I think he is a better option than Botman, just considering Brentford's fixtures to start the new season. I think Brentford have way better fixtures than Newcastle, so I think you're going to get a bit more utility out of Henry at 4.5. You're going to be able to start him in more games than Botman, especially to start the new season, and Henry has better attacking potential there as well. So Rico Henry, a good option to own. Obviously Spurs at home, Game Week 1, not the best fixture, but after that he does have some pretty good fixtures. So with that being said, let's have a look at the midfield picks now. It's a very stacked midfield. I'm extremely happy with the starting 4 players in the middle of the park. As I said, a 4-4-2 formation, and it's Saka, Salah, Matoma, and Rashford. A very premium midfield 4 options. Saka, Matoma, and Rashford, all 3 very popular midfield picks. Salah also FPL ranks amongst the highest owned midfielders, around a 25% ownership right now. Obviously way lower than it's been for Salah in previous seasons, partially due to Haaland's price. But I think Salah is going to be a really good pick. 25% ownership. It's normally sitting way over 50 at this point of the season. It's been that way in previous seasons coming to Gameweek 1. Salah's just been a set and forget option. He's a lot more differential this season than he has been in the past. With the way he ended last season, and of course how good we know he can be when he's at his best, I think he's going to be a great midfielder to own to start the new year. Liverpool with Chelsea away, Gameweek 1, not the easiest fixture, but Salah, another string to his bow that is, he always seems to do well in Gameweek 1. He always seems to find himself a goal, so I think if he can do the same again, I'll be grinning after Gameweek 1. Salah is a fairly differential pick compared to previous years, and obviously compared to Saka, Matoma, Rashford, some of those other popular guys, so I don't think Salah's going to be in a massive amount of teams coming to Gameweek 1, as it seems to be the template is shifting towards 5 midfielders. So by having Salah in, I'm sort of breaking the template a little bit. I think going for double premiums does make FPL a lot more interesting, and I want to mix it up a little bit at the start of the season. I don't just want to go for the template sides. That's why I like Reece James in defence there with a fairly low ownership, and I like Mo Salah in this midfield. Double premiums, not as common as just a single Haaland premium pick to start the season, but I'm really excited to see how this double premium strategy does pay off, and I think it's going to be the strategy that I do stick with coming into Gameweek 1 when it does come around. So I think Salah in the midfield, he's going to be there to stay. I'm really excited to have Salah in my team. He's so good at his best. He's on penalties, which is obviously a thing that Marcus Rashford and Matoma potentially won't have, so I think that's another string to his bow. Obviously you have to pay a little bit more for him, but compare him to some of those other popular midfield picks, he does have such good attacking potential. Saka as well, of course, a very popular midfield option, which I have discussed previously. Arsenal have really good fixtures to start the new season, and I think Saka is their best midfield pick just because he does have penalties. That does make him so much more tempting compared to Odegaard and Martinelli. And Matoma and Rashford, I don't have to say too much about those guys. Two very highly owned midfielders, both with very good fixtures to start the new season. Both had excellent campaigns last year, and both had pretty good underlying numbers, so I think it's not too much of a dilemma as to whether or not I was going to have Matoma and Rashford in my team. Also, with the way this team's set up, I'm very happy that I have Rashford over Fernandes. Fernandes was initially in my Gameweek 1 team. I do like Fernandes still at £8.5 million, but I'm interested to see what his role would be like with Mason Mount in that side for Manchester United. But the Fernandes is going to play more as a central midfielder, and Mason Mount plays more of a cam role. If Mason Mount's going to start, how the midfield is going to look for Manchester United. So I think there's a little bit of uncertainty around Fernandes for that reason. So I wanted to go with Marcus Rashford. We know what he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing either striker or on the wing. He does very well in either position, has very good underlying numbers, had a very good XG last season. So I think he's going to be an excellent option to start the new year. Also did very well against Wolves last year, who he does have in Gameweek 1. So I'm happy to have Marcus Rashford instead of Bruno Fernandes there. And it does protect me a little bit from the template. If Rashford does well, I'm not hurt because I do have him in the team. Whereas compared to if Fernandes does well, it's not going to do as much damage, me not having him in the team. With that being said, let's have a look at the two forwards now. It's Gabby Jesus and Erling Haaland up top. A fairly template front two, but for me, easily the best two strikers in FPL to start the season. Jesus at £8 million, I think is a really good price. I honestly would have been expecting him to be 9 to 9.5, considering how good he was when he played for Arsenal last season. Seeing him at £8 million at just £500,000 more than Nkunku, who's also a popular forward option, I think Jesus is going to be such a better pick. He's the same price as Watkins. He's in a much better attack than Aston Villa's, to be fair, and Jesus is going to get so many chances in that Arsenal side. Per 90, had some of the best expected goals figures of nearly 0.7 expected goals per 90 when he was playing for Arsenal last year, so he's getting so many chances. And with those Arsenal fixtures to start the new season, I just cannot turn him down. And then Haaland at 14, obviously the most expensive player in the game, but he's not going anywhere in my team. We're going double premiums, Salah and Haaland does currently have the captain's armband for Gameweek 1. He's got Burnley away. Salah's got the vice captain's armband. I don't really think we're going to be taking the captain's armband off Haaland too much this season, to be honest. I think he's a bit of a set and forget captain. So with this very strong starting 11, I think it's a big part of this team to talk about the bench, because the bench isn't as strong. I've stacked the midfield with fairly expensive players. I've got Rashford over Fernandes. I've still got a very strong defence despite not having any Liverpool defenders. I'm not too sure going the Liverpool defence is going to be the way to start the season. I think I want to see a little bit more from that Liverpool defence based off last year in terms of clean sheet tally before I look to jump on their assets. I think Reece James can match Trent and Robertson for attacking potential in terms of goals and assists to start the season. So I'm happy to go for the Chelsea man there. But let's have a look at the bench now. Areola, as I touched on, is going to be the sub keeper. He's a very, very good option at 4.0. Obviously one of the more popular picks in FPL at that price as goalkeeper. Bayer is going to be my 4.0 defender. I'm not sure Bell is going to be good to go for Gameweek 1. There's a little bit of uncertainty around him there. Also Burnley, and I do blank in Gameweek 2 as well as Luton Town, but I don't think I'm going to be needing to play Bayer in either of the first 2 game weeks because my starting 11 is so strong. Brentford have a better fixture game week 2 as well, so I'm more confident in starting Rico Henry. Obviously not ideal that I had to play him against Spurs at home game week 1, but I'm not going to start Bayo against Manchester City at home over him, obviously. So I think the team is still very, very good. I'm not going to need too much rotation in this side through the first 5 to 10 game weeks. If I need any rotation, I have double premiums, so I'm very flexible in terms of being able to have money in the bank to make upgrades. I can easily just drop one of Salah or Haaland down, and I'll have plenty of money to upgrade any other position in my team, which is very, very useful. It's a lot harder to make upgrades in your team with just one premium because you have to make a lot more changes to the squad. For example, if Salah was maybe a Maddison at 7.5 and I had a starting 5 midfielders, I'd have to drop a 7.5 mil mid down to a 4.5 mil mid who's probably not going to play, then just upgrade a defender to a more expensive option if I wanted to get Trent in for whatever reason. It's a lot harder to do that, and I think I'm sacrificing a lot less by having double premiums. I can easily downgrade to upgrade another position. Then Semenyo is my bench, 4.5 forward. Started or played 11 games, should I say, last season in the Premier League. Got himself a goal. Was also had a spell away from Bournemouth where he found 3 goals in 6 games. A fairly decent tally there. So I think Semenyo, not a bad pick. He's a chance for some minutes for Bournemouth this season at 4.5. So he is pretty much could be any other 4.5 option in the game. Not too fussed about this role here. And Vlasic is my third bench defender here. He's coming in at 4.5 million. He's probably not going to play for West Ham, so I don't have too many playing options on the bench right now, but that's not too much of a concern for me when I'm looking at the squad. I'm probably going to be playing, obviously, Pickford, Reece James, Estupiñán, Saka, Salah, Matoma, Rashford, Jesus, Haaland every single week, regardless of fixture, just because they're such good FPL assets. The only 2 players that I can really see myself needing to rotate will be either Gabriel or Henry, just based off fixture. Obviously, then Bayer can come in, but I think for the majority of the start of the season, Arsenal and Brentford's fixtures are very, very strong, so I can play Gabriel and Henry most weeks. So I think the need or the use for the bench this season in FPL is so much lower than it has been in previous seasons, just considering there is no starting 4.5 midfield options and no starting 4.5 options as it currently stands. All the 4.0 defenders in Bell, Bayer, and maybe a Baldock from Sheffield, they aren't the best picks either. They're obviously all from weaker defences, so you're not going to get too much utility out of them. You're not going to be able to play them in too many weeks. You're going to have to rely on them having a very, very easy fixture. So I think for that reason, I want to go with this team with a 4-4-2 formation. I want to maximize the strength of my starting 11 just based on how poor the cheaper options in FPL are this season. I want to have a super strong starting 11, and by having this 4-4-2 team with 2 premiums, it does allow me to do that. Obviously, by having 2 premiums, I have so much flexibility. I can easily make transfers. I can drop Salah down to any midfielder in the game and have plenty of money to be able to upgrade any other position in my side if I have to. So I'm very happy with this team right now as a 4-4-2. I haven't seen too many 4-4-2 teams with double premiums, so I think this could be a bit more of a differential team. I'm excited to see how it plays out. It's got all the key ingredients in there, plus Salah and Haaland, so I'm very, very excited for Game Week 1. I will be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this team as well. It does use up 100 mil of the budget, have 0 left over. There's not going to be too many bench rotations in this team, but I'm extremely happy with the starting 11. Thanks for watching today's Game Week 1 updated draft. I'm very excited to see what you guys thought of this team. Are you guys rocking double premiums? I'd be interested to know. If you're new to the channel, of course, and are excited for Game Week 1 of FPL, leave a like and subscribe. It does really help us out, and have those notification bells turned on so you don't miss any future FPL videos in the build up to the start of the new season. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.